The rampant corruption within the CFMEU is having a devastating impact on our economy and society, and it's one of the most pressing issues facing the Australian construction industry. This is a topic that hits close to home for many of us in the industry, and it's time we lay it all out in the open. Thank you to the Channel 9 and 60 Minutes team for giving us all a voice. This is the largest defrauding of the Australian taxpayer in our history. Every Australian needs somewhere to live, work, play, and be educated, hospitalised, roads and bridges to drive on, and public transport to catch. The CFMEU is a tax on every single one of us. I'm Pikos, and today we're talking tactics. The CFMEU, or the Construction, Forestry, Maritime, Mining and Energy Union, has long been a powerhouse in Australia's labour landscape. But with great power comes great responsibility and, as we've seen, great corruption. Let's start with a bit of history. The CFMEU was established in 1992, born out of the ashes of the Builders Labourers Federation, or BLF. The BLF was deregistered by the Bob Hawke government for corruption. Its organisers swiftly regrouped, merging with unions from other industries like maritime and forestry to form a super union, the CFMEU. From its inception, the CFMEU has been plagued by the same issues that led to the downfall of the BLF. Violence, cronyism and corruption. Seems that history has a way of repeating itself. In the early 2000s, the CFMEU's power grew exponentially. Prime Minister John Howard's Royal Commission into the building and construction industry in 2001 highlighted widespread corrupt dealings. This led to the establishment of the Australian Building and Construction Commission, or ABCC, in 2005, which was designed to keep unions like the CFMEU in check. However, under successive Labor governments, the ABCC was abolished. First under Kevin Rudd, and then again, more recently, under Anthony Albanese. This allowed the CFMEU to operate with impunity, with little oversight or accountability. Fast forward to 2014, Queensland police began investigating connections between the CFMEU officials and bikie gangs. This investigation led to one of the state's biggest drug busts. Union officials and delegates were found to be trafficking MDMA and methamphetamine across the state. One notable case involved Daniel Kalaja, a drug mastermind who was offered a job as a workplace health and safety officer by the CFMEU, despite having no relevant experience. In fact, Mr. Kalaja's only experience was in drug trafficking. This is just one example of the union's deep-rooted ties to organised crime. The corruption doesn't stop there. The CFMEU has been known to send masked men in balaclavas to builders, developers and tradies' homes, threatening into signing enterprise bargaining agreements, EBAs, shutting out honest tradies out of building sites and sending builders broke who don't comply. These strong-arm tactics are designed to intimidate and control, ensuring that their grip on the industry remains unchallenged. The CFMEU's corruption, it's an open secret. I personally know many people in the industry who have been threatened over many years. Since my LinkedIn post on Wednesday, I've received countless messages and calls from people within the industry sharing their run-ins with the CFMEU. So, why are we hearing about it now? Recently, Nick McKenzie and the team at 9 newspapers released a story on 60 Minutes that revealed a decades-long investigation into the corruption within the CFMEU. This investigation provided concrete evidence of what many of us in the industry have known for years. The episode showed footage of Victorian Tasmanian Division Secretary John Setka threatening another union leader. It revealed links between the union and underworld crime figure Mick Gatto. The investigation showed that the union had been forcing developers and builders to hire bikie-affiliated subcontractors. This has led to a culture of fear and intimidation across the industry. The Labor Party and the CFMEU are closely linked, and this investigation has put a spotlight on these ties. Let's talk numbers. According to Danita Warren from Master Builders Australia, the CFMEU's unbalanced bargaining agreements have increased the cost of building a home by 30%. This makes it even tougher for young Australians to start their dream of owning a home. The CFMEU controls agreements on Australia's largest infrastructure projects. Their actions have stalled projects that would have brought considerable benefits to the Australian economy. Let's look at three major projects. First, Brisbane's Cross River Rail. Cross River Rail's budget has blown out by $930 million and will take an extra year to be completed. Despite the developing controversy, the CFMEU decided it was appropriate to go on strike again this week. Unionists blocked the walkway for ordinary people trying to get to work. All of this violence was in an attempt to establish a bargaining agreement that put entry-level employees and traffic controllers on over $250,000 a year. $250K for a lollipop man. That's 2 to 3 times what the average teacher or nurse gets paid. It's simply ludicrous. Next, the M7 to M12 integration project in New South Wales. The project was designed to connect the toll-free M12 motorway with the M7, creating a more connected Western Sydney for drivers. Nine's investigation found that John Holland Group had agreed to a secret CFMEU agreement to only source labour from CFMEU preferred labour hire firms. One of these firms, Zenith, is headed by known felons. When the brothers owed $18 million in tax, court documents show that an undisclosed agreement was struck with the ATO. Multiple businesses associated with Zenith have mysteriously collapsed, owing the hire firm tens of millions of dollars. The project's budget ballooned from $1.2 billion under the Liberal Berejiklian government to $2.1 billion under the Labor Minns government. Finally, Victoria's big build, over 100 projects have been delayed and tens of billions of dollars are over budget and wasted. As reported recently by the Courier Mail, in the last quarter of 2023, Victoria lost 18,500 working days due to industrial disputes. This is the biggest loss of productivity in the country, and it's followed closely by Queensland, who lost 11,000 working days. But so what? How does businesses having their construction projects stalled and budgets blowing out affecting everyday Australians? The impact of the CFMEU's actions extends far beyond the construction sites. The 30% premium we must pay to build all our buildings and public infrastructure is a direct consequence of their corruption and criminal ties. This premium isn't just a financial burden for business to bear, it's a social one. Home prices are skyrocketing, making it increasingly difficult for young Australians to enter the housing market. Antonia Maccarella, the Chief Executive of the Real Estate Institute of Queensland, said the rate of industrial disputes was a major concern for industry groups, and she feared that union action would stall the state government's plan to boost supply to ease the housing crisis. There's this Homes for Queensland plan, which has very big, bold ambitions for the construction of new supply, but no one seems prepared to have a conversation about the elephant in the room. These delays are directly exacerbating the housing crisis, and the inflated construction costs are directly funding criminal bikie gangs. The cycle of corruption and crime is perpetuated by every inflated contract and every forced EBA. Every single EBA across the country needs to be torn up and renegotiated. The CFMEU's influence isn't limited to the construction industry. It extends into the political arena. Donation laws need a major reform. The CFMEU is uncapped in donating to the Labor Party. This raises a critical question. Can Labor be trusted to limit the CFMEU when the union movement is its biggest donor? So it seems clear to me the CFMEU needs to be broken up. The super union just can't be allowed to wield the power it has been given. It needs to go back to separate unions for separate trades. A plumbers union, a sparkies union, a chippies union. All that power can't be concentrated in one group. Once they're allowed to control the tower cranes, they have free rein to do whatever it is they want on sites. And it goes without saying that the criminals need to be cleaned out and banned from ever joining a trade union again. So what do you think? Can Labor be trusted to reform the CFMEU? Will the CFMEU be resurrected, just like the aftermath of the BLF after Bob Hawke abolished it? Can we eradicate the corruption and criminal activity within the construction sector? Have you had a run-in with the union and want to share it? Let me know in the comments section down below. If you like this video, why not give it a thumbs up? Send it to a friend or colleague so that they're across everything that the CFMEU is doing. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Press the bell icon so you don't miss out on our next video, an overview of the Sydney Metro. Let's hope that project won't get stalled and the next stage of the rail line will open next month. My name is Pikos and we've been talking tactics.